So in this pleasant evening, we have Dr. R.K. Sangavi, who has served as senior consulting clinician for more than 2 decades. And he is being a panelist of National Formulary of India and Journal of Obesity and Metabolic Research. So he is serving as a chairman of Nutraceutical Committee and Medical Committee of IDMA. So he has more than 35 years of experience and expertise in healthcare, medical marketing, and techno-legal and OTC domains. He is being a consultant for more than 80 pharma companies, including MNCs. So in the nutraceutical segment, his role is very vital in pioneering this segment in India, and he is always up to date by, and also he is ready to give talks and updating other fellow physicians of India in this.
Nice thing that we are able to share a platform again on this topic of immunity. And immunity is such a complex topic. Even last time when we had discussed about it, we realized that it has too many chemicals coming in the picture, and it has too many things that we need to understand. Well, unless we are able to understand this whole thing as such, we will not be able to really understand what are the factors on which our immunity is based, what are the different ways the immunity gets upset, because there are two problems in immunity. Either we can have low immunity or we can have a hyperimmunity. Both are not acceptable, both are a problem. So we need to have a proper immunity without going into the state of hyperimmunity. So let's see the balancing approach. How is it possible? What are the chemicals and what are the mediators? I need to take you to the basics for that, because these basics, unless they are understood, we will not be able to grasp this whole subject of immunity. So we have these two types of immunity, which we all have studied long back. One is the acquired and one is the natural. Now, when we talk of the natural, we are talking of all the defenses, the physical defenses that we have, the linings of the body, the skin that we have, the cells that we have in the linings of the body. They are all naturally going to give us the immunity. As far as acquired is concerned, we are talking of, again, two types, the cell-mediated and the humoral. Now we know cell-mediated is the phagocytosis, the way the cells are going to help us and engulf the pathogen and remove it. As far as humoral is concerned, the antibodies that we have, the IgGs that we have, the IgM that we have, either it is there naturally present in us or it has been taken from outside, given as a form of a sera or something like that. Now, what are the cells which are useful as far as immunity is concerned? Now, if you look at the cells, now we have two types of defense locations. One is the tissues and one is the blood. As far as the tissues are concerned, the most important are the macrophages. Now, if you look at the blood, we have two types, the mononuclear and the polynuclear. Now, in the polynuclear, we have the neutrophil, and in the mononuclear, we have the monocytes. Now, this particular lymphoid cells, we will look into it as a separate topic because it is very elaborate. Now, in addition, this particular cells, which are supposed to be most important, who are going to guard our body, are the dendritic cells. These dendritic cells, which are present in the blood and also in the tissues, are like these sentries, or they are like the watchmen, which is the first post of trying to find out what has attacked the body. Now, as soon as the dendritic cells are alerted, then monocytes, neutrophils, and the macrophage, they are the first three cells which will approach to fight the problem. They are the partners in crime. Now, let us look at the lymphoid cells, because this is where the hyperimmunity and how this particular immune mechanism can be balanced. This, to understand, we need to understand the lymphoid cells. We have the small lymphocytes and the large lymphocytes. In the small lymphocytes, we have the B cells, which we know basically are the ones which cause the antibody production. They are the plasma cell. Now, there are also some memory cells which are present. Now, these memory cells of B type are the one which give maybe for a long term, maybe lifelong. We also have memory T cells which are short term. half year, 6 months, 3 years, that's it. Now, if you look at the large lymphocyte, we have the natural killer cells, and the T cells are helper, killer, and the memory cells. As far as the helper cells are concerned, again, we have the two subtypes. One is Th1, which produce inflammatory cytokines, and one is Th2, which take away the inflammatory process by making anti-inflammatory cytokines. So these are the ways the cells are distributed as far as our body is concerned. If you go to look into the antibodies that are present in our cells, 75% is IgG. 15 to 10% is the IgM and your IgA. So most important is the IgG on a long-term basis. Now let's see the cytokines which are important as far as this particular defense is concerned. So we have the pro-inflammatory, which are going to start the inflammatory process. We have the interferon, the TNF, and the interleukin. Now we have the inflammatory cytokines which actually cause the problem, the prostaglandin and the leukotriene. And then we have the anti-inflammatory which can take care of the inflammation and close down the process or switch it off. We have the anti-inflammatory interleukin, and there are other factors also. So these are the various cytokines that we have, and the interplay is very important to understand the immunity, the immune mechanism, and what happens, whether we are going to go in a damaged state or we are going to get a recovery. Now let's see, the innate immunity which naturally have are two things. One is what we have in the, the plasma cells which are present. Plasma and cells, this is present. And we have the plasma protein C3b complement. Whenever the antigen invades us, it is going to attack either the respiratory tract or the skin or the digestive tract first. And when it enters this particular tissues, this is the time we are going to be able to tackle it either by IgE or by IgA. That is the humoral immunity. Then from the tissues, it will enter the blood. When it enters the blood, we have two more IgGs and IgM. And when it enters the blood, this particular complement protein is going to help us to differentiate whether this antigen is a part of the body or it is something from outside. Now, this is how we are able to differentiate self from non-self. Now, this innate immunity is going to make a chemical called interferon, and it will recruit the cellular immunity. Now, the cells which are recruited are going to be activated and attracted by another set of chemicals, that is interleukin and the chemokines. Whichever cells are going to be recruited, they are the ones which are going to take part in inflammation, and inflammation which is caused is basically by the prostaglandin. This inflammation ultimately leads to tissue damage, and that tissue damage is because of leukotriene. As we know that the corona problem is there, there is also thrombosis which participates as a part of tissue damage because this comes out in the same pathway, and that is done by TXA2. So these two pathways are interlinked. Then this tissue which has been damaged needs to be cleared if healing has to occur. And to clear the tissue, we have lipoxins, and for healing, we have the anti-inflammatory interleukins. So this is how there is an interplay of various chemicals, and this is how the various types of immunity come into the picture. If this particular ability to differentiate the self from non-self is lacking, then we land up in the autoimmune disease problem. So let's see these autoimmune diseases. As we know, this is a problem wherein we have the immune system which is going to attack one part of our body tissue. And these are the various problems which are common. So we don't go into detail because as medical doctors, we all know all these problems very well, and we are encountering all this. The incidence of autoimmune disease, they say it's 4% of the world is affected, and more than 100 autoimmune diseases are listed. Now, this is the third most common in the US. As far as India is concerned, close to 10 crore Indians suffer from this autoimmune disease. It is more common in females, and the ratio of female to male can be 2.25 to even 4:1 or 3:1. In India, 75% of whatever is diagnosed is a female patient. Now, why females have more problem than males? It is interesting to understand. Testosterone is protective against autoimmune disease. And naturally, females having lesser quantity, they are more prone. If there is additional factor of excessive prolactin secretion, then females have higher incidence of autoimmune disease. Another thing which has been noticed is whenever there is an attack by the antigen, the antibodies produced in the females are always more than the males. So this is one of the reasons why the females have more problem as far as autoimmune disease is concerned. Now, why especially the elderly females? Now they say that there is a problem of a particular chromosome, X chromosome, which carries a particular gene, which is called FOXP3, which is responsible for autoimmune disease. Now, this is a gene, if it is defective and mutated gene, which is present in a female who has X chromosome, because they don't have the Y chromosome. Males have Y chromosome, we don't carry this gene in the Y chromosome. So this particular gene, if it is defective, this is the reason why the females get it. So in the males, if the autoimmune disease is present, it is because of the FOX3 gene on a dominant X chromosome present in male. So males have X and Y. Normally the Y is dominant. But if the X is a dominant chromosome which has been derived from the parents, then there is a risk of autoimmune disease even in males. Another thing which has been noticed is after the 40s, autoimmune disease is more because possibly the pregnancies which the female has undergone has been positive for the autoimmune disease. So whenever there is a pregnancy, there is a process called fetal microchimerism, where the fetal cells will enter inside the mother. And this fetal cells trafficking begins right from the early pregnancy. And this is the reason why they say that after the particular age of 40, the incidence is more for autoimmune disease in female. Very interesting is that the T cells, which are important, they are the ones which are very, very important to understand from immunity perspective. They are all derived from bone marrow. And they are immature when they are made in the bone marrow. They travel to the thymus for maturation. And when they are immature, they are called as thymocytes. Now, when the T cells go to the thymus and undergo maturation, there are two processes. One is positive selection. Positive selection means 98% of the T cells are eliminated because they are not capable of doing anything good for the body. They cannot function, so they are removed. And out of the balance 2% which are remaining, those which can bind very strongly to antigens, they are further removed. So if there is a T cell which has a strong, very strong binding ability to antigens, they are weeded out by a process called negative selection. Now, if this particular T cells, which are strong binding to the antigens, are not appropriately removed, we'll end up in an autoimmune disease condition. And we have more of autoreactive T cells. So this is the reason why we have the problem, especially the females after 40. So what happens when we get autoimmune disease? First of all, one of the reasons of autoimmune disease is possibly some pathogen has entered. And when the pathogen enters, it will attack the cell. So when the tissues that we have macrophages, which are our defense. After the pathogen enters a tissue, maybe the lung or maybe the digestive or the skin, wherever it is, it gets access to the blood. When it goes to the blood, the dendritic cells, which are supposed to be very important watchmen for the blood, they are the ones which are initially coming in the picture, and they call the T cells. The T cells then recruit the B cells, and the B cells make the immunoglobulin. Now what happens is, how does that pathogen get removed? Now this particular cells, they have an enzyme called caspase 3. Now this T cells and the macrophages kill the pathogen, and they produce a waste product or an apoptotic waste, which is like you have a waste which is produced day in and day out. We store it in a waste paper basket. So this apoptotic waste collects, which requires to be eliminated on a daily basis. Remember that we have 150 billion cells of the body every day having a turnover. And this 150 billion cells, which is just 0.4% of the total cells that we have in the body, they also contribute to the apoptotic waste on a daily basis. So we need to eliminate. And this enzyme, which is caspase 3, will remove it. Now there's women who have this particular gene, FOXP3 gene, on the X chromosome. Suppose this gene is down-regulated. It is not very strong. It is not working properly. Then this enzymes, caspase 3, levels are reduced, and the elimination of the apoptotic waste is reduced. Now, when the apoptotic waste is reduced, then this particular autoreactive T cells, which are more in such females, they overwork. The B cells make more Ig, and that is the reason why we get autoimmune disease. So this is the whole link which leads to autoimmune disease. So it is basically the T cells which are the prime initiators. These T cells are the most important part as far as this particular thing is concerned. Now let's look at the various T cells that we have in the body. We have the T suppressor cells, we have the T helper cells, and we have the killer T cells. So now when you talk of suppressor cells, these are the ones which will down-regulate the immune response. The killer T cells will destroy whatever cells are infected, including the cancer cells. Now let us look at what happens as far as T helper cells are concerned. Now as soon as the T helper cells come out from the bone marrow, they are absolutely naive. They have not been ever exposed to an antigen. And the first time they get exposed to an antigen, they are divided into Th1, Th2, and Th17 cells. So this is what happens to us for the first time. Th1 is the one which causes inflammation. Th2 is the one which is going to cause healing. And Th17 is the one which is supposed to cause autoimmune disease. So Th1 is for inflammation, Th17 is for autoimmune disease, and the Th2 is for healing or removing the inflammation and taking care of the hyperimmunity. So these are the three cells of the T series, which is important and very important, playing an interactive role, which actually dictates what happens to us. In addition, we have another T cells which is called a regulatory T cell or a TREC cell or TREC T cell. Now, this particular regulatory T cell is very, very essential if we want to curtail or tone down autoimmune disease. Now, let's see. Now, this is a very comprehensive chart which I will take 5 minutes to go through, because this will give you in a nutshell exactly what is this problem of immunity as far as autoimmune disease is concerned. What is this problem of immunity as far as our natural immunity is concerned? How important is the immunity as far as this corona problem is concerned, which is a big pandemic today? So whenever a pathogen enters the body, it has to enter the tissues. In the tissues, there are macrophages, and it will also enter the blood where we have monocytes. Now, this particular blood which have been attacked by this particular pathogen, they are going to stimulate this TS cells, the helper cells. And these TS cells are going to differentiate into, again, I already told you before, TH1, TH2, and TH17. So these three cells are now interlinked to the TS cells. As soon as the pathogen enters the blood, these monocytes are going to trigger these TS cells, and we have these three. Now, TH17 and TH1 cells cause inflammation. TH2 cells are going to switch off the inflammation. They will resolve the inflammation. And these TH17 cells also cause autoimmune disease. Now, the macrophages and the monocytes make certain chemicals. And these chemicals are the one which will induce the FOX3P gene, okay, in the thymus. And this particular gene is supposed to be differentiating the TS cells into TREC cells. So these TREC cells are very important. And these TREC cells are very important because they are the ones which will remove the influence of TH17 cells. So they do not allow the autoimmune disease to occur. And they are also important to increase the TH2 cells, and they are able to take care of inflammation. So these TREC cells have two roles. They make sure that the autoimmune disease is reduced, and they also make sure the inflammation which has occurred is resolved. So these are the ways the chemicals come out. Now, another thing which is important here is a particular chemical called NLRP. NLRP, from the medical doctor's point of view, is a very important chemical today as far as corona is concerned. And if we do not have any product to take care of NLRP, we are not able to take care of the cytokine storm. The NLRP is the beginning of the cytokine storm. So this NLRP, if this particular pathogen is not eliminated, is going to be made. So it is important to fight. If you do not have adequate immunity, then NLRP comes out. And NLRP makes two more chemicals. And this IL-1 beta is supposed to participate and cause inflammation. And the IL-18 which is there, sorry. So this is the one which causes inflammation. Now, in addition to that, if you look at various other chemicals which are coming out, these are the various chemicals which come out. And they are the ones which play a role every particular reaction that we said. We don't go into detail which chemical where, but this is actually the flow chart which tells you which are the cytokines, which are the interleukins, which have a role for which particular pathway of the process. Now, as far as this particular chemicals are concerned, there are two more chemicals which come, and that IL-18 which was made is very important to differentiate this TH into Treg cells. So this is what happens. Now, most important is the body always tries to rectify a problem as far as possible. So we have all the tissues of the body, the ability to make another interleukin called IL-38. Now this IL-38 is the one when the apoptosis occurs, when the damage occurs, this IL-38 which is going to be initiated is the one which will block quite a few chemicals. So it will block the chemicals which cause inflammation. It will block the chemicals which cause autoimmune disease. It will block the chemicals which are liberated by the NLRP also. So this particular IL-38 is very important. So having put that particular background in the perspective, these are the common autoimmune disease and the manifestation. These are the various tests which are required to be done. And these are the various markers which are evaluated by us. Now, depending on the condition, the severity, either we give NSAIDs or a steroid or the disease modifying agents. Depending on where the agent is going to work, we can classify the disease modifying anti-rheumatic drugs into various categories. Either they work on TNF or they work on IL-6 or they work on some other particular chemical. Now, suppressing autoimmune disease, but at the same time maintaining immunity is very important balancing act that we need to achieve. Now, severe infections, because they cause cytokine storm, they are the ones which can precipitate autoimmune disease. So we need to understand hyperimmunity, if it occurs in any severe infection, should be checked. Now in India, we have low hygiene standards. So we know that when we eat outside, we don't get diarrhea very easily. But when somebody comes from US or Europe, he goes outside in India and has only one meal, they have an upset stomach. Because our immune system is more geared up, there is also a possibility that higher immune system activity also facilitates the development of autoimmune disease because hyperimmunity is more easy. So let's maintain immunity, at the same time decrease the hyperimmunity. That should be the balancing act we need to achieve. This product has been designer conceptualized to give this particular end benefit. The compositions which have been suggested have been based on what are the factors there is a particular need to increase immunity and what are the factors which need to be suppressed to ensure the hyperimmunity does not occur. So this is the designer product. It is not a copied product, nowhere available in the world. This has been designed based on pure medical rationality. So when we have a particular system, we have an entry of a pathogen. Okay, it could be a SARS, so it could be any other pathogen. And the first time, whatever we have is the response, which is called as the first cytokine wave, where the immune mechanism will start, and that is the protective for us. Now, if it is protective, the pathogen is eliminated, the inflammation is resolved. If it is hyperimmune status, if somebody has extra immunity, hyperimmunity, then it can go into tissue damage. But also remember, if you have immune deficiency, it could also lead to tissue damage. Now, how does immunity becoming more lead to tissue damage? Because of cytokine storm. The cytokine storm also starts another cytokine wave, the second wave, which is a lethal wave. Now here, depending on the various treatment that is done, either there are two outcomes, either there is resolution with tissue healing, or you could have complications, especially you can have autoimmune disease. So this is the whole sequence of events, how it occurs. And it has been shown also, there have been references to show that these cases with COVID who develop through the excessive cytokine release, the uncontrolled immune activation is very important for the grave prognosis. So it is very important to take care of the hyperimmunity. So let's see what is adequate immunity. Okay. So the pathogen enters the tissues, macrophages are present, and in the blood, whatever the pathogen enters, we have the cells which are activated, which are the natural killer cells, the monocytes, the neutrophils, and the T cells. So this is how the particular body responses. This T cells will differentiate into Th1 cells, and that will stimulate B cells, and then you get the production of IgL. So this we have already said. Now this Th1 cells, they make interferon gamma. And this interferon gamma is also made by the natural killer cells and monocytes. And this is an antiviral cytokine. It can kill the virus. It has the ability. These neutrophils are the ones which will do phagocytosis. The macrophages will do phagocytosis. So if the immunity is adequate, we are able to take care of the virus or the pathogen. So this is how the whole thing occurs. So let's see what happens as far as the product ingredients are concerned. Where are the particular product ingredient acting? So there are various loci in which the ingredients are supposed to be working. So you have certain ingredients like vitamin C, zinc, which are able to stimulate neutrophils, the natural killer cells. Okay, vitamin C can increase the macrophages' ability to kill. The Th to Th1 cells differentiation is also possible by vitamin C and zinc. Vitamin C is very important to activate the T cells. Vitamin C is important for making antibodies. So that is the reason why all of us, we are supposed to be taking vitamin C and zinc to build our immunity. You can see the multiple places, the role that is played. One thing which I need to emphasize here is the product has beta glucan, which is antiviral. It is supposed to be increasing interferon gamma and directly killing the virus. Most important to understand is this is one of the very, what you call, few product which has zinc in the form of zinc acetate. Now, when we talk of zinc, as far as zinc is concerned, we have in our country zinc sulfate, we have zinc citrate, we have zinc acetate, and we have zinc gluconate. Now, if you look at zinc acetate, it is one of the best antiviral activity. If you look at zinc gluconate, the activity of antiviral is about 2 to 3 times lesser, but it is 0 for sulfate, mind you. So all these 0 zinc sulfate products, it is questionable whether we are getting the benefit. You are getting zinc, that's fine. So deficiency is taken care of. But the extra work of zinc, you will not get unless you take the acetate. And that activity can be measured by a factor called zinc ionic activity, which you can all check in Google and reconfirm what I have just said. So now, this particular pathogen, if you have not had adequate immunity, is going to make this particular chemical called NLRP3. And this NLRP3 will make 2 more chemicals, interleukins, which will come out. And from the TS1 cells, there'll be more chemicals which are coming out from TS17 cells also. And this particular chemicals which come out from TH1 and TS17, TNF alpha, IL6, IL8, they cause the cytokine storm syndrome. This is where we are all concerned. So this is something which we need to prevent. So we need to ensure that we don't go beyond this particular stage where the immune system can fight. and immune system is not able to fight properly, then the NLRP comes out and the Th1 cells are going to now make Th17 cells and release all these chemicals. So IL-1 beta causes the inflammation. And these Th17 cells are the one which make IL-17 and they are causing hyperimmunity. So now you have a problem. We have the hyperimmunity and we have cytokine storm also. And both this combined together in due course are responsible for causing complications of autoimmune diseases, including ARDS, that is acute respiratory distress syndrome. So 20% complication which is possible is because of a combination of these two factors. Now, what happens if these particular factors have to be taken care of? So these are again the particular ingredients which would be useful. Very important to understand is besides zinc and vitamin C and beta glucan, there is an extract from green tea called EGCG. And there is also this particular N-sativa, Nigella sativa. These are very important to take care. So you have factors which can take, and zinc officinale, that is the ginger. Nigella sativa, I believe, is called kalonji in Hindi. I don't know what it is called over there in South. These are important to tackle TNF alpha. Okay, we can decrease this particular problem of TS cells, Th1 cells producing all these chemicals because of this EGCG. And because of EGCG, we are able to even block hyperimmunity. So this EGCG is a very unique ingredient which has been incorporated in this product to block hyperimmunity. So this EGCG and this Nigella sativa, which is the kalonji, is very important for most of the effects that you can see over here. Now, we always talked about CRP. Whenever we have a problem, we measure CRP. And this CRP, when we talk about, this is actually the protein which comes out from the liver in any acute inflammation. And this CRP is the outcome of IL-6 and IL-1 beta. So this is the three chemicals which contribute to this CRP formation. So it has been said in another study that the prevalence of between 20 to 50% of autoimmune disease related to antibodies is possible in a particular patients of COVID. So it is because of the 20 to 50% because of the autoimmune disease and the antibodies, autoantibodies which are responsible. Now, just to understand exactly how the tissue damage really occurs in a particular person is, we know that we have cells everywhere. And all the cells in the body have three parts. We have cell membrane, we have the cytoplasm, and we have the nucleus. Now, all the cell membranes of every cell of the body is made up of phospholipids. So these are phospholipids. And there are two layers of phospholipids. A phospholipid has a structure of one head and two tail. So the name phospholipid means phosphorus is here and the lipid or the fatty acids are in the tail. So whenever there is inflammation, this enzyme phospholipase A2, which is liberated by the inflammation, cuts the neck of the phospholipid. So head is separate, tail is separate. So if you take a bottle of water and you cut the water of bottle, the water which is there already in the bottle will come out. So when you cut the neck, the fatty acids present in the tail come out. And what comes out is arachidonic acid. So it is not made, it just comes out. And that arachidonic acid is the one which will cause the formation of leukotriene by being converted by LOX, and COX will convert it to prostaglandin. Whenever we give NSAIDs, we only block COX. We do not block LOX. So leukotriene formation cannot be blocked by NSAIDs. But when we give steroids, which we know are much more powerful, they are more powerful because they block here. So both LOX and COX, both prostaglandin and leukotrienes are blocked. So this is important to understand. So let's keeping that in mind. This is the last flow chart. Maybe you're fed up, but this is very important to understand the sequence. So the pathogen enters, and again, I'm repeating the same thing so that it becomes ingrained. To understand, this is a very simple thing, and the sequence is very, very straightforward. So when it enters, it is going to go to the tissues. The macrophages are there. In the blood, we'll have the monocytes and neutrophils. And the monocytes and neutrophils are the one which are going to cause all the attack. So they have a cell membrane, and the cell membrane contains phospholipids. So these are the phospholipids which have a neck. And this particular pathogen, because of secretion of PLA2, the neck is cut and the arachidonic acid comes out from the tail. So this arachidonic acid is then going to be producing PGE2 and LTB4. PGE2 causes inflammation. This is how the inflammation actually occurs. Now, in addition, the neutrophils make IL-12, and this IL-12 converts the TH cell to TH1 cell, and the TH1 cell also causes inflammation. So the inflammation comes because of the PGE2 and also the TH1 cell. Now, this inflammation, when it occurs, what happens is there is a free radical produced from the neutrophil and monocytes, but macrophages don't produce free radical. They kill by making nitric oxide gas. So the free radicals are produced to kill whatever the pathogen has been engulfed or been swallowed by the monocyte because of phagocytosis and the neutrophil. They are produced, but the macrophages produce nitric oxide. Now these leukotrienes, they produce enzymes. They are the destructive enzymes, matrix metalloproteinases. So these enzymes and this nitric oxide and oxidative stress, they cause tissue damage. As soon as we get tissue damage, we have interleukin-4, which is made by the natural killer cells. So this is the link. And this interleukin-4 now realizes that tissue has to be now repaired. Damage has occurred, inflammation has occurred, let us repair. So this interleukin-4 is going to cause the TH cells to convert to TH2 cells. TH2 cells are going to, these TH2 cells are going to liberate interleukin-10. And this interleukin-10 is one of the most important interleukin, because this interleukin-10 is going to make sure that this COX and the LOX are inhibited, inflammation is reduced. So this is the way it switches off the inflammation, the TH2 cells. And the TH2 cells, because it makes interleukin-10, the macrophage which are M1 and cause this particular inflammation and phagocytosis are converted to M2 variety. And this M2 variety are the ones which do tissue healing. The TGF beta, which comes from TH2 cells, facilitates the tissue healing. So you get regeneration of the cell, you get formation of the extracellular matrix, and even the blood vessels are restored. So this is how the tissue healing occurs. So once the tissue healing is occurred, what are the various ways we can help the tissue healing? So this particular product, again, has a role because of the ingredients present in the various places where the tissue damage occurs. So this EGCG is not the one which only reduces hyperimmunity. It is also improving the levels of IL-10 and helping in the healing of the tissues. Secondly, the tissue damage can be taken off by the Kalonji or the Nigella sativa. The ginger and the same Nigella sativa can inhibit the LOX and the COX enzymes. Zinc and selenium are important for this particular free radicals. So selenium which has been put is basically for the free radicals. So this is how the whole thing occurs. So these are the various ingredients of the tablets. It has 3 and 6, 7 ingredients. The ingredients are put in such a way that the best ingredients are put from the point of view of strength and the point of view of bioavailability. So we have the full strength vitamin C, and each and every natural ingredient which has been put, a nutraceutical has been put, whether it is EGCG or a beta glucan or Nigella or the ginger, all the ingredients are put in the appropriate quantities. So there is no compromise in the efficacy. Mind you, nutraceuticals do not work unless you give the right quantities. And I'm very sure, because I'm an allopathy doctor, I have to make the product work. I require the right quantities. As I said, zinc is available as acetate, 2 to 3 times more effective than gluconate, zero action with sulfate. So all these things that we take which have sulfate, all the products, we need to rethink on that. Superior salt of selenium, because at selenomethionine it is provided, not selenium dioxide. So the bioavailability is more. So what are the benefits? So it boosts immunity. How it decreases inflammation. It lessens the tissue damage. It heals the tissue. And most important, counters hyperimmunity. And these are the ways it will boost immunity, whether it is innate immunity or cell-mediated immunity or the humoral immunity. It decreases the inflammation by taking care of the pro-inflammatory interleukin, the TNF, as well as the NLRP, which is important. Remember, NLRP is becoming a big factor. Destructive enzymes are reduced. In fact, even the free radicals are taken care of, and even the nitric oxide is taken care of by all the ingredients that are present. Heals tissue so that you get the cell regeneration back. The extracellular matrix is once again, and we get also the blood vessels which have been restored. The vascularity is restored. How does it counter hyperimmunity? It reduces TH17, regulates or upregulates the direct T cells, which is important, and increases IL-10. So these are all the ways the product is supposed to be working. Multiple loci, multiple focus, multiple mechanisms. And this is the chart which I will not explain, but this is just to show in a nutshell that how this product has the potential to decrease the pro-inflammatory cytokines. What are the ingredients acting on which cytokine? Inflammatory cytokines are also decreased by Nigella sativa and zinc, officinale. Anti-inflammatory cytokines are increased also. And there are markers also which are taken care of. And the cells which participate in the whole process, whatever is the beneficial cells are helped, and whatever cells which make a problematic cytokine are actually down-regulated. So this is how the product has the multiple action or loci of action. So the recommendations are this product has a role to play to support immunity if we have a deficient immunity. In fact, if you have immunodeficiencies because of certain diseases, like cancer or maybe especially now in the current pandemic, females especially, this is having a good role.
Doctor.
In autoimmune disease, regulate immunity by balancing the defenses. It can be given as an adjunct to drug therapies, and it can also be given in autoimmune disease with SARS prophylaxis, double benefit to the women. So these are the various places where the product can be advocated. So summarizingly, this particular it can decrease the hyperimmunity. And can also regulate. Immunity. So these are the various three factors. So I would like to conclude saying that anatomy is the base. If you look at physiology and biochemistry, if you understand, then that is the basics for understanding the pathophysiology of the disease. And the pathophysiology is very important to dictate our treatment, whether it is medicine, surgery, gynec, or even rheumatology. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that wonderful presentation.
So I think someone's two devices are switched on by someone. Bharat, can you mute them? There's an echo of my own words.
Yes, I am searching that. Device.
Good evening, sir. I have a question. I am Das Navjot from DD Nutrition's Private Limited.
Just a minute, sir. So let them correct that audio so that we can hear you.